Today on FluTac, we talk about the Strike Mag 32 round high capacity magazine for the AR-15 that is also translucent. And I'll be doing my torture test to let you know, is this the best AR-15 magazine ever designed? Or is this a bang or bust type of situation where just save your money for a PMag? Stick around because another exciting episode of FluTac, Armed Citizen Firearm Training Solution, starts right now. Hello there, gunslingers, and welcome to another exciting episode of FluTac. I'm your host, the Faceless Gunslinger. We're at the Hal Air on the range again today, and before I begin, just want you to know that I do not have any sponsors, as you can probably see from my YouTube channel, and this is a completely unbiased, objective torture test of the Strike Mag. So, real quick about the magazine. The reason what kind of caught my eye to this is because when you're thinking about, without rule of law or survival situations, I believe that you can never have enough bullets unless there's two situations where you're either drowning or on fire. But if you're not drowning, if you're not on fire, then have enough bullets on hand. Every little one can possibly count when you're fighting for self-defense, or wherever it could possibly be. And I think it's important to be able to have the capability to be able to have a cheap and economical solution to that for most people who may not just have the money to buy a whole bunch of different types of magazines. So enter Strike Mag. So the Strike Mag is, once I said in the beginning, is just going to be a translucent. It's a 32 round plus, okay, 32 round plus magazine. And the reason that's attractive because it gives me extra 2 rounds. Now, for you may be saying, hey, extra 2 rounds, hey, Faceless, that's not much extra ammo. Okay, multiply the extra 2 rounds by, let's say, 10 or by 30 magazines, then instead of, in that point, you just exponentially, for almost the same size and almost the same weight, you got yourself additional 20, 30, or 40 rounds that you can take to the fight to influence it to have a positive outcome for you. So that's what's important. So let's look at the magazine. This is original packaging. Like I said, I have not shot this yet at all, Gunslinger. So this is going to be a double-blind study. So this is the packaging came. I got this off, I believe, AIM Surplus, and they're pretty cheap. They're roughly, I think I've seen them low as about $11 or $12. You can also get them, maybe about $20. So it'll be very interesting how those. But here's a magazine. Just a couple things it says here, as you guys can see. Sorry, it's hard to read, reflecting the camera. But it says an accurate feed tray design, high strength polymer, enhanced design, and it's lightweight. Like I said, 32 round plus, which is awesome. So I believe 33 rounds possibly from here. From there, really nice packaging designed here as well. Patent pending. And down here has a couple more things. It says, slick profile design for easy insert or removal. And a stacked mag pouch, which is pretty cool. Anti-tilt follower for increased round feeding reliability to reduce misfeeds. Anti-slip finger grooves on both sides of the magazine help give positive control. All right, that's cool. And this is just the front side here, just saying pretty much the same stuff again. So I don't know what this means, but it says down here, if anybody knows what this means, comment in the comment section below, but it says new material. I don't know if there was problems with predecessor magazines, but yeah, so that's it. Let's go ahead and take it out. Like I said, this is my first time opening this particular package. I have never shot one of these magazines before, so we'll see how it goes. All right, got it open. Okay, we'll get rid of this. All right, so initial thoughts. Does feel kind of sturdy. The bottom portion does feel pretty sturdy. Initial thoughts with that. I do like the base plate here. Like the way it looks. Doesn't seem to be a problem. Let's check the magazine spring here. Getting really good feedback so far on it and tension, so that's really good. I will say, I don't know if you guys can see that here on the YouTube link. My biggest concern, though, it doesn't look like there's much polymer or material up there at the feed lips. And I wonder during our torture test if that's going to be an issue. It doesn't have a round counter, which is, I'm perfectly okay. I think with being translucent, you really don't have to worry about a round counter. Just take a look and give you a good idea how many rounds you got left to put into the battle. So that doesn't seem to be too bad. Let's take a look. Yeah, it is a little bit of, I don't know if you guys can see it out there, but there's a little bit of play in those feet lips just by me pressing it together. We'll see that's concerned, but it looks like there's more material at the bottom portion of the magazine versus the top. So, yeah, initial impressions, impressive. It looks good, looks sexy. So let's go ahead and go to our AR-15 and just see if it blows and is there any issues with it being on empty. Okay, gunslingers, got my beautiful trusty AR-15 here, M4 style rifle. We're going to do just a simple test. It is still not loaded yet for the strike mag industry. I just want to see, make sure that this actually is able to load. We'll do 3 times with the bolt open and 3 times bolt closed if there's any issues. All right, here we go. Positive retention, not much play. It's in there pretty good. Put it in there pretty good, no issues. Once again, still good. Line the bolt home. Bolts home. Let's see if it inserts, no issues. Inserts, no issues. And inserts, no issues. Okay, no problem with basic feeding right now. No jamming. It feels pretty good like any AR-15 magazine. You maybe can see it or maybe you can't, but it does look like it does extend out a little bit more than a traditional AR-15 magazine. Here's a traditional stagnant magazine for comparison. It's not perfect, but you can see it's maybe 6L just a little bit more because of extra 2-3 rounds in there. But let's get this bad boy loaded up and let's go ahead and start our torture test, see how she holds up. All right, gunslingers, say welcome back. Yeah, so just going on at least my first problem I'm encountering. So I counted at least 3 times. I got 30 rounds in here. This is supposed to be 32 plus, but as you guys can see, once again I counted, I'm having a hard time getting that, even getting a 31 rounds in there. It's starting to separate. Now, caveat there, this is a brand new magazine. So yeah, the spring, it's got some good tension, which is a good thing. So some wear in might do it. But right now, right out the box, at least I'm having a hard time getting even 31 rounds in there. So with that being said, we'll stick with just 30 rounds for this test. We're using basic 55 grain 5.56 ammo, full metal jacket, so nothing special there. And let's go ahead and get right to the torture test. A couple things we'll be doing today. We'll be, of course, just doing basic loading, firing, making sure that works properly. We'll do a couple throw tests in the air, see how it stands up. I'll drop the magazine a couple times while it's loaded on the ground. We'll run over it with a vehicle to see how it performs. And we'll go ahead and, of course, just keep on pushing through and see how she does. So it's kind of a bummer that, at least right now, I haven't taken out the ammo, but it's kind of a bummer that I can't even get 32 rounds in it right now. That's one of the big selling points for me. Like I said, probably just a positive thing. There's just really good spring tension in here that makes it a little bit harder. But, you know, it's a little more difficult, and you guys could see earlier with spreading the lips. So let's go ahead and just see how she loads loaded. Going lock. Bolts forward. Okay, good positive retention there. Not a problem or issue. All right, just for a control measure, we're gonna fire 2 rounds and we're gonna see exactly how she shoots just with 2 rounds. All right, good cycling there, so that's pretty good. Let's continue on with the test. Okay, gunslingers, we're going to do a drop test. We're roughly at shoulder height, where this is a loaded weapon. We are pointing down a safe range, as you guys can see. So we are just going to try to drop the magazine, see if there's any cracks, see how it performs. We'll do it 2 times and give it a shot. Here we go. Pretty good indentation there for the magazine, so we know it hit. Here we go again. All right, 2 good hits. All right, let's go ahead and bring her up. Looking real close. No signs of stress on the magazine yet. Let's go ahead and see if she shoots. No problem. All right, that passes. Okay, gunslingers, you already saw the first test. We're now going to throw it up a little bit. I'll see if I can get it on camera. This is a one-man show out here on FluTac, so I'll see how I can do. But so far, it's no issue just with a simple drop test. We're going to throw it up. If one or two rounds come up on top, I know that's a big deal for some people, but for me, if one or two rounds come out being thrown 10, 15 feet in the air, it's not a problem, and it's nothing wrong with that. It happens to a lot of guys. So let's go see how she does. Up, and away. All right. 2 more times. Oh, okay, guys. That was one throw. Okay, let's kind of talk about this real quick. One throw, very interesting. It appears that the spring, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's almost like a gumball machine right now. It appears that the spring and follower are kind of stuck. So this is not good. This is a failure. If you were in a combat situation, this would get you killed. So what I'm going to do is throw it again and see if we can unstuck that spring. All right, here we go. Oh, I love YouTube. That's good YouTube magazine right there. All right, let's see if that made any difference. No, we got AR-15. I'm sorry, we got 5.56 dropping out here, dropping it like it's hot. Look at that. Oh, crazy. All right. Okay. I don't think that's going to work. So just give me a minute. I got to take a quick break to try to get this thing going, as you guys can see, and see if I can continue on to get this thing to work. So 1 minute. Right back. All right, gunslingers. Hey, welcome back. Sorry, I was able to bang it against my AR-15 and they got the magazine spring unstuck. And I was able to load it back up. Well, that was a failure. It's no way around it. I will say that there doesn't seem to be much damage to the magazine itself. But it did result in almost all my 5.56 dropping into the mud, as you guys can see here on the range. So it introduced another problem of having debris and mud inside the action. So let's continue on with it. Next test is going to be what I like to call a horizontal harassment test, aka throwing it. I'm going to throw it across this trench, and then I'm going to throw it back, and then we'll see how she works and see how she goes. So here we go. All right, picking her back. Oh, we got some good debris in there. All right, throwing her back. All right, doesn't appear to be any damage. We do got some debris. Live YouTube. I'm loading it up. All right. All right, we got a damage here. Kind of spec that with all the mud. All right, hang on 1 second. I gotta go ahead and clean this up too. Okay, let's go ahead. I cleaned out a little bit, see if she feeds. All right, we got a feed using a forward assist. Have to get filled like there's mud in there, but she actually engages. All right, one for good measure. Always one of my favorite ways to clear your weapon by shooting off the last round with a removed magazine. Okay, after clearing out a little bit of mud, you guys can see, throwing it back and forth. She's holding in there pretty good. She did feed. The mag, I'm just going to tell you, pushing down, the spring itself is really stiff. Now, once again, there is some debris that's been introduced in here, as you guys can hopefully see that on YouTube. So she's a little dirty. She's a little dirty. But let's go ahead and get this thing ran over and see if it shoots after that. Let's go. Okay, gunslingers, as you guys can see, I got the magazine placed right there. We're going to go ahead and run this magazine over, see if there's any damage to it, and we'll just go for there. So let's go ahead. You can see we just had a little run-in with my vehicle there. As you guys see, we went back and forth, not very good speeds. SUV, looks like the material actually is holding up extremely well. No signs of cracking anywhere that I can see off the top of my head. Let's go ahead and put 5 rounds through it, see if she feeds, and just go from there. All right, there we go. Just had a little bit of mud in the action. Real live YouTube, guys. Let's go see. We got a fire to extract. I don't think this is because of the magazine per se. If I was a betting man, this is more as a result of just the dirt and grime that's in there. Let's get that out. Yeah, just having a lot of problems with mud and issues. It's not an AK, but still love my AR-15. There we go. Failure to extract. Oh, this might be a live round. Let's see. Put some more round through. Yeah, this mud is really just messing up the operation system here. Wasn't supposed to be AR-15 malfunction issue, but like I said, I think the malfunction you saw is more like just too much mud inside the action, causing it to jam up. So I'll give my good old AR-15 a good cleaning here when we after this beautiful episode's over. So for the next test, we're going to go ahead and actually try to go shoot the magazine with 7.5 burst shot for roughly about, I don't know if you guys can see, roughly about 25 yards. So really excited to see how the material itself is going to actually hold up, getting peppered with some burst shot. So let's go and do that. That's the last test, and I'll get you my final thoughts. Okay, gunslingers, for my very final test, like I said, we'll be shooting the strike magazine with burst shot. Today we'll be using, like I said, 7.5 bird shot. One's going to be from Remington Super X or Winchester, I believe, and the other one's going to be by Federal. We'll be using one of my favorite shotguns, America's shotgun. We'll be using my Police Magnum 870 12 gauge pump action. So let's go ahead and get things set up and see how she goes. Okay, gunslingers, we are at the final portion of my test. We are roughly, I'll say a little bit more, roughly around, I don't know, 15 yards or so. It's kind of hard to see, but if you were to look at the little red portion down there in front, you can see the magazine. We're going to put 2 shells of a burst shot through here and see kind of what happens. I tried to get it back as far as I kind of could, so it doesn't have that much velocity, but it'll probably blow it away. But hey, we'll see what this new material does. So going loud. Let's get 2 rounds of burst shot from the Remington 870. And to back out a little bit more, let's see how she does. All right, this is live. I think I came a little bit high over the top of the last one, but it looks like at least one of those hit. So let's see how this magazine held up. I'm super curious, just as much as you are. Well, live YouTube, guys. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm kind of impressed. We have 0 penetration. Probably a good, I don't know, 20 to 30 pellets. One actually hit the top of the round, the 5.56 there, but that portion right there is actually very impressive. Not too far, like I said, right where that trench is at, we've got probably 15 yards, and I think this thing is still going to fire. So let's go ahead and load it up and see if she fires, and we'll just do a quick mag dump through a range of magazines, and we'll go from there. Okay, gunslingers, here we are. We're back at it. This is Let's see if it's going to feed. Like I said, you probably can see it on YouTube, man. We've got a lot of gunk and mud in the AR-15, so I think that's kind of causing stoppages. But let's see if she actually seats after being shot with birdshot. Wow, she actually seats in there pretty good. Let's see if the bolt rides home. Didn't fully seat in there. Forward assist is not helping out really either. I think it's just too much mud and gunk right now. Work the action a little bit. We're going to put it back in. Still not going in the battery. Unfortunately, I think, like I said, we just have too much mud for the AR-15 after the rounds were caught in there. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we do a quick mag dump. Let's see if she survives after being shot. So here we go. Or not. Okay, let's see if it takes a round off now. Nope. So what we've got here, we've got a failure to feed. The rounds, it's just skirting right off the top of it. Bringing it back out. And so here's what I think the problem is. It's the magazine feed lips here. There's just too much play in it. So it's hard to, maybe it's hard to tell, but they're almost stacked side by side. We're going to push it down and see. Oh, and the magazine has lost tension. Again, as you guys can see, they should not be doing that. So it's lost tension, so it's not pushing the rounds up either. It's still really stiff. Okay, let's try again. Still failure to feed. Okay, well, that's YouTube for you guys. I cannot get this thing to work right now. I'm going to try one more time. I know you guys want to see it shoot like I do, if it can. In the magazine. Yeah, it's done. Okay, let's do our final review. Thank you as I fiddle my way through that. But as you guys can still see, unfortunately, this magazine, the spring, a lot of play. The spring is still not doing its job, and rounds are, I hope you can see that they are falling back down. So let's do our final review. All right, gunslingers, thank you so much for sticking around me. That was painful, to say the least. But I want to say thank you for sticking around if you made it here to the end. And time for my final thoughts and review. I'll start off with the positive. When it comes down to it, I must admit I was really impressed just how strong the material is with this. I wanted to originally shoot at 25 yards with the birdshot, but I got a lot closer. And I'm really impressed that there's no penetration or nothing was really damaged. So it took a good job. The material they used took a really, really good job. It's kind of hard to see. There is a little bit, it's really hard to see me for you guys, but there is a little bit of back deformation that penetrates into the magazine there from that. But still, that's pretty good to be that close with a birdshot from there. And I don't know if that's causing any additional issues, but we're already having a problem with the magazine spring from there. So the polymer itself is really good. I love the price point. The price point I think is really good at $12 or so. That you can purchase these and get yourself a translucent magazine. And I could have just a bad batch, but that's one thing I like too as well. And it looks really good. It looks really, really good. Looks really, really sexy. I love the way it's designed. The smoke is just really, really nice and clear. And those are some of the positives. Now the negatives. If you watch that through that torture test here. Right off the get, there's something wrong with the magazine. Now, I will preface this that, you know, if you've been in AR-15 and sometimes new gear is just going to be broken in, and that could be a potential here. You know, I like I said, this was a raw dog review. What you guys saw, what you got, we're both seeing at the same time, so a double-blind study. And, you know, straight at the magazine, though, this thing was not reliable, in my personal opinion. You know, I couldn't even get, you know, it was hard to get, couldn't get 31 rounds into it at all. The magazine had a lot of jamming, so I will caveat, like I said, a lot of new equipment, sometimes you need to break them in, and maybe some good cleaning and CLP or something will really, really be able to help move the spring up a little bit more and not resist as much. But yeah, that was a big disappointment. I think that really started off on a bad foot and a bad note that caused a lot of issues there as well. Another thing that does have me very concerned, even though the polymer seems like it's really tough, I just think there's just way too much play in here for my comfort with the feed lips. I just part of the problem here is too is that you can see that with the extra play, you can get 2 rounds almost stacked side by side with each other. And what that happens is that it can cause it just causes the feed lips to swell, and I don't know if that caused some problems with jamming, but I can only imagine if you're like me who loves going shooting, who does a lot, it's going to definitely cause some issues and get some more rounds popping out and jumping out too as well from there. And with that being said, I mean, I do think, in short, I do think when it comes down to it, this is a bust for me. I really wanted to like this magazine, but my loyalty is to you guys out there in YouTube land, my fellow gunslingers, my fellow firearms enthusiasts, so that you know what type you're getting. Now, I always want to caveat that I could have got a bad batch. That once again, it could be some more working in. This could be a good magazine, but for me as a person who been overseas, who's been in the service, and who takes survival and self-defense seriously, I cannot bet my life on this to protect myself, my family, or anybody else who's innocent if I was called to service to help protect somebody, for those who can't protect themselves. So this would get somebody killed. That wasn't intentionally done, but you saw 5.56 just shoot out there, like I said, like a gumball machine. But anyway, that's enough rambling. Either way, I still think Strike Inch is great. It's a great company. I've used their forward assist on my AR-15. I think they have a lot of good stuff, and I think the heart's in the right place. Really been impressed with the polymer side of it, but I just cannot recommend this. As you guys can see, it's just not for me. And once again, the mud did obviously make things more complicated, but if it would have not jammed the spring, then it wouldn't have fell in the mud in the first place. So with that being said, thank you very much. I really appreciate every single one of you here joining me on YouTube. And besides that, make sure you do a couple things for me. Make sure you shoot straight, make sure you shoot safe, and do not be a victim.